Hi, Robin Forster here, and true to form, all kinds of things have happened to make it really challenging to do this Facebook Live. Not sure what that is saying about my karma or whatever, but I had all kinds of computer problems. It was impressive, and so, of course, once again, we'll be trying something new and different. So today I have two different speakers that I have interviewed and I want to share with you. One of them is a healer and the other is a car guy. And let me tell you a little bit about Mary Beth before I bring her up. She is the healer and she is really a fascinating person. She is not only a Reiki master, which is very cool, but her background was in the corporate world doing finance. Totally different. But in these weird times, I figured we need to learn as much as we can about healing and healing our planet. So I'll bring up Mary Beth's recording here. Hopefully, cross your fingers, because so many things can go wrong with this. And there we are, hopefully. Uh-oh, I have no idea what my desktop is doing. What I am trying to do is I'm trying to get back to the beginning where I thought I was, but I was not. So here we go, and I apologize ahead of time for the sound. That was something that I was going to fix, and I had other problems, so that didn't get fixed. So you can read the transcripts down the side if that helps any. And let's see. Let's learn more about Mary Beth and what she can do to help us. Hi, I'm Robin Forster with FeelSoAlive, and I have my friend Ryan Scroggins. And did I pronounce your name right this time?
Correct. Absolutely.
Excellent, good, because I am famous for doing bad things to names. Guess what? That is the wrong interview. 1 second, and let me pull up Mary Beth. One of the things I have found is that it's incredibly entertaining doing these Facebook Lives because I always am learning something new. So for those of you who are afraid to do a Facebook Live because you think you'll do something silly, stupid, make a mistake, I hope that I make you feel better and you can just relax and know that it's going to be what it's going to be. So let's try that again. Live, and my guest healer today is, and I'm looking down at my notes just in case y'all are wondering, Mary Beth Simon. She is from Pennsylvania, and she is a Reiki master and has a fascinating background in corporate before she went out on her own, and she was in the financial consultant world. So it's going to be very fun to have Mary Beth share with us, because she's come from one dynamic to another dynamic. So Mary Beth, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into Reiki and the world of healing?
Yes, so a few years ago, I was on vacation in Sedona, and I always like to get spa treatments. And I went for an energy healing treatment, a Reiki energy healing, because that's what you should do in Sedona. If you're going to do it anywhere, do it in Sedona. And so it was wonderful. And at the end of the treatment, the practitioner said to me, do you realize that you are like me? You have the same gifts. And I said, well, sometimes I realize that especially if I'm dealing with people who are ill, I notice that I have an energy gift with them in particular. And she said, you should learn Reiki. Even if you don't do it for a living, it would help you protect your energy and help you to be more focused in the energy work that you do with other people. And so when I came back from Sedona, I took a couple Udemy courses and I learned Reiki. And I actually learned how to be a crystal Reiki master after becoming a regular Reiki master.
That is fascinating. I mean, to think that you could do it online. And the other thing that I think is fascinating is the crystal Reiki. As we were talking before, I hadn't really heard of that. And can you share a little bit about what that is and what it's about?
Sure. So So there are certain crystals that are considered Reiki crystals, and they amplify the energy, and they have different properties. So interestingly enough, right near where I live, there is a crystal Reiki store, it's a large store, and my husband calls it the store of rocks. And it's not really rocks, but it's crystals. Yeah, so when you use it in crystal Reiki, you place the crystals on the person's body. So you might place a crystal on the third eye, on the throat chakra, on the various chakras. And then when you do the Reiki healing, it amplifies that energy and has some healing properties.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And how funny that you live close to a crystal Reiki store. I just think
Yeah,
that's great.
it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's overwhelming actually when you go into a crystal Reiki store because there are just so many crystals to learn about.
Huh. Neat. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you for sharing that piece. And then, kind of to the meat of the topic, why we're together is that I would like you to share with everyone on the replay what you have some gifts that you would like to share with the world. And so, can you tell us about those and take us down that path?
Sure. So one of the things is since I left corporate, I am a consultant now and I help people create contingency plans to keep life running smoothly in an emergency. And I would say that this scenario that we're in right now is a perfect example of something that we could never predict, and something that we need to be prepared for in case we become ill. If we run the finances for the family, make sure that other people know where our passwords are and how to keep the bills getting paid. So I would ask everyone to consider that for themselves. And then the second gift I would say is that when it comes to Reiki, everyone has the gift of Reiki. So it's just a matter of learning it, learning how to channel your energy and how to bring that energy to other people to help them heal. And everyone can learn how to do it. We can use it to heal spaces. We can send energy around the world. So it is a very powerful tool that all of us can learn and all of us can contribute to society.
Interesting. Okay. Fun. Okay, so what is it that you can do right now so that folks watching the replay, what can they take away to help them deal with their anxiety or confusion or like you were saying, the whole planning for the unplanned? What are 4 or 5 tips that folks will go, oh, I needed to hear that today?
Yeah, so from the planning perspective, I would say the number one tip is when it comes to your passwords, make sure that someone else, someone other than you, someone who you trust has access to your passwords. So whether it's your digital password manager or write them down, put them in a password book. And I have a free online resource on my website with instructions on how to create that. So
Great.
that is, something that you can go to my website for. So definitely document your passwords, and then identify who is your second in command. So if you're the person who manages the finances, figure out who is that backup, and then you need to talk to that person and tell them how you manage the books, how you manage paying the bills to make sure that they're ready to step in for you. The third thing I would say with managing the stress like we're in right now is find time to meditate. So I meditate twice a day. I do transcendental meditation, and I've been doing that since about 2015. So it's a lifesaver, especially when if you have that practice, and when you get into a situation like this, that's really something that's calming and centering. So if you can find time, even if it's for 5 minutes twice a day, take that time and be thoughtful of the energy that you're feeling. So do breathing exercises to calm yourself rather than bringing that anxiety to other people. So be conscious of the energy that you contribute to your environment, especially with all of us working a little closer together in the home than maybe we would have normally. Those would be my tips.
Those are excellent, and I have been frantically writing all 4 of them down because I really like them, and they're all really, really excellent. And it fascinates me how you come from this financial, very straight kind of background to now to the healer background. And I think that this list, number 1 is passwords, very something that's just very tangible. You need to take care of this. We all know that. Not that we all do it, but we all know that. And then ending with number 4, which is about your energy. Being conscious of what you bring, and maybe even we can add be intentional.
Yes.
When you walk into a room, what is the energy that you want to bring? And I know there's a lot of us who are really trying to be more of the light and bring more positive energy, given that the situation right now is fluid, maybe is the most gentle way to say it.
Yes, and a lot depends on our vibration. So if our vibration is low and we're feeling down and negative, then that affects many people, other than ourselves. So if we keep our vibration high, it's good for everyone's health, including our own.
And do you have a quick little easy suggestion for bringing our energy, our vibration up? Like standing someplace, waiting for something?
Yeah, I would say physical activity is key. So especially I've heard from a lot of people who are working from home now that they're on more conference calls than they ever were. They're working longer hours than they ever were. So there may be a perception that people have more downtime, and that's not necessarily true for a lot of people. They're working even harder than they were, and they're not getting time to move. They're not walking between buildings or between meetings. So I think that the physical activity, if there's an opportunity to do yoga, stretching. I'm a Les Mills body flow instructor, so I still get up every morning at 5:30 in the morning. I meditate. I do an hour of body flow, and then I get showered and I go to work.
Oh,
try and keep that same schedule.
Yeah, that is so important. I've been hearing that from others and realizing for myself that my routine is really kind of weird, mushy right now. And I'm used to working from home, but it's just gotten mushy, and it's like, okay, is this how I want my day to be? Is this how I want my evening to be? And it's like, no, not really. So what are the things that I want to do now to change it, or what do I want it to look like? So then I know that I can change it. And
yeah, that's exactly right.
Great. Anything else that you would like to share before we end?
The only other thing I would say that I found that I needed to do is go on a news diet. Too much news is not good for us. That's my last tip.
And that is a fabulous tip. It's a very, very good idea to go on a news diet. Well, Mary Beth, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time and the energy that you've put into this. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin. It was a pleasure.
Oh, how funny. This is supposed to take us right back to, there we go. as always, a learning experience. But that just makes it fun. And the information that I wanted to share with you all, that's the important thing to me. And everything else is just kind of entertaining. So on to the next person that I interviewed. And the reason that I interviewed Ryan, and I'll bring him up in just a second, Ryan Scroggins, is that he is a car guy, and a lot of us are not using our cars like we used to use our cars. And we've got, for a lot of us, some money tied up in them. So I talked to him about it, and I said, Ryan, can you share with us some things that we need to know what we can do to take care of our cars? And he said yes. So hopefully I can pull him up. We'll see. So 1 second, and thank you for your patience while I learn more interesting things. Okay, here we go. And it looks like Ryan does have the transcripts printed on the side of the screen, so you'll be able to read this just in case the sound problems. I was having echoing happening last time, and I figured out how to fix it, but I don't think I took the time to fix it yet. So here we go. Probably. Hi, I'm Robin Forster with FeelSoAlive, and I have my friend Ryan Scroggins. And did I pronounce your name right this time?
Correct, absolutely.
Excellent, good, because I am famous for doing bad things to names. So that's pretty exciting. It's a win for the day.
Yeah.
But the reason why Ryan is here is that he is with C&L Automotive. He's the owner there, and he's a car guy. I mean, a serious car guy. He's been doing this for a long time. And the other day, as I was sitting at my desk at home in my family room, and I was looking out at my car and thinking about my car, and I thought, oh, when was the last time I drove my car? It's like, well, could have been a week, could have been longer. And I started thinking, oh no, this is an expensive thing I have parked out in the driveway. What is it I need to do to help maintain this expensive toy? Well, not exactly a toy, expensive car that I have. And so then that's when I started talking to you, Ryan, and saying, okay, so what do I do? And all the information you were sharing with me is like, uh-oh, we better tell everybody else because I bet they don't know.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
you're absolutely right. Your car or automobile, truck, SUV is probably the second most expensive asset you have, one being your home. And right now people are spending a lot of time in their home. And not necessarily they're neglecting their second, asset or their vehicle, but they're just not thinking about what's going on with that particular car that's sitting in the driveway. This week, for example, we've done a lot of pickup and delivery services for customers. And a lot of the times, the reason why is because they walk out to their car, it hasn't been started in 2, maybe 3 weeks. They hit the key and nothing happens. Usually the battery, which is, even though the car's off, it's still supplying all of the necessary power to keep your battery, your radio, all of the features alive in the car. And they're finding that the batteries are not holding a charge. Super important, as I was telling you a little bit, even if you don't go anywhere and you follow the the strategy that we all have, it's still a good idea to start your car and just drive around the block and really just recharge that battery. Rotate the tires, let's say, where you're just driving it around a little bit. That's really healthy for your car. And the other things we were talking about too is on a long-term issue, and not over a week or a day or something, but your fuel itself. We have ethanol fuel. So we learned this lesson with our lawnmowers years ago when we put fuel in our lawnmower and then we just put our lawnmower away for the winter. You go to start that lawnmower up in the summer and that lawnmower doesn't want to start because that fuel is broken down. So it's really good idea, really to fill up your car, start it up, drive it around a little bit, get that fuel to kind of circulate around. Also running the heater, getting any moisture that's built up in the car. That you don't want mildew or anything like that building up in it if it sits for a long time.
Oh, okay. Because at first I was thinking, oh, I'll just go sit out in the driveway, and I'll just start it up in the driveway. But then when you were explaining to me how the fuel breaks down, so you've got to get out and go around the block probably more than one time
Correct.
just to get all the fuel circulating. I just went, oh,
Yeah.
that makes so much sense. But then thinking about driving it and thinking about the tires, because I have one tire that has a tendency after a while to not have as much air in it as it's supposed to. I mean, not flat, just not right.
Correct.
Do you guys do air, or do you know who in the Eugene area is open and doing air?
Absolutely. So automotive industry, like ourselves, is considered an essential business. So essential means we need to be here for the community to do everything they need to do. So C&L Automotive, absolutely, we're open. We're here for you. We do fill up the tires. That is a service we do not charge for. So simple things like airing up the tires, checking your fluids, checking all the light bulbs, making sure headlights are working, taillights, that's absolutely something that we do for free for you. And if another thing too is if it's something that if you do go out and rubbing and that little tire has decided that it wants to go flat, it lost a little more air than you thought, just call us. We'd be more than happy to come over, whether I just bring an air tank with me, I air up the tire, or I pick up the car, bring it back to my shop, we air up the tires, check them all. That's absolutely something we want to do to help the community out in any way we can.
Oh, excellent. Okay, that is so good to know.
Yeah.
You brought up something else that I don't really think about very often, and that was what's it called? The cabin air filters?
Absolutely, absolutely. So a cabin air filter is designed to trap all the pollen, and of course, they've been around for a long time, but when you turn your heater on and you pull air, you're pulling outside air through the cabin of your vehicle inside the vehicle. So the manufacturers have designed these filters to trap pollens, any type of stuff, pine needles, anything and everything that's outside. It filters that before it comes in the inside. So the nice thing about it is that if there's any kind of virus that is floating around in the air, that filter is also grabbing that virus before it can come inside the car. And that's a service that we've done for a long time. I would say 90% of most all cabin air filters we do not charge labor for. Whether you buy the cabin air filter, you bring it to me, I'll put it in for you for free, or purchase one of ours. Absolutely something that we'd love to do to help the community, make sure that everybody's safe in the community.
Nice. Wow, I've just learned so much with this discussion about cars, and I like cars. I'm a car person, Okay, so now, given the day and age that we're in right now, how is it that you guys are working with the whole social distancing and killing the virus and all of those? What is it that you guys are doing? So we
absolutely,
know
that's a great question, and I think it's on everybody's mind, whether you're having your car worked on or you're pulling up to get a favorite burger at a drive-through. So everybody has some strict criteria, and then everybody's adding their own criteria to it. One thing that we're very keen on is, and not only to protect us, but to protect the vehicles. We've got we're covering the floor mats where the seats are covered. We're covering the steering wheels, anything that is being touched and touched a lot, like door handles. My technicians are wearing gloves. We are spraying everything down with a Lysol or a cleaner product. We have this great cleaner that we got from a lady named Forster, so she could tell you about that. But we're going through and really cleaning them, one, before we work on them, and then after we're finished with them, we're really trying to wipe them down and just kind of keep the exposure as little as we possibly can. And we generally, even before this virus, we've always tried to do a great job of keeping them clean. Now it's just really kind of boosted that whole effect of, keeping vehicles clean.
Well, and I like what you were saying about how you're cleaning it before and then cleaning it after, because that's good to know that you care about enough about your employees to make sure that they're being as safe as can be.
Absolutely.
So
And to
that
take it one step further, I know a lot of businesses, are open and we're really following that 6-foot radius, really trying to keep our distance away from people. We've got a huge waiting room that, of course, we can keep that distance away. We're also doing, I think I said before, the pickup and delivery service where I picked one up this morning. The lady waved through the window, dropped the key down on the floor mat, and I come and grab it, and then I'm going to deliver it and drop the key on the floor mat. We're having a lot of fun with it. You can look at two different ways, positive or negative. I think it's just a different way to do stuff, and if anything, we're having a lot of fun with it. So it can be positive if we want it to be positive right now.
well, and I think it helps all of us as we try to survive and thrive in this strange period of time that we're in, if we try to be positive. So knowing that when I, walk into your shop, even though we're far away from each other, that it's still a positive vibe.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, I really think that we can be safe. We can do all of the stuff that we need to do as a community. But at the same time, we can have a positive attitude. We can get through this together. I think we'll all hang in there, and we'll be a lot more educated when we're all done with this too.
I think that's for sure. Well, Ryan, you are with C&L Automotive, and you are out West 11th, and your address, why don't you give us your address again out West 11th?
3768 West 11th. We're right next to Bailey Hill. Can't miss us. Big, huge office right in front. You'll see a wonderful classic car in our showroom, which you can see right from West 11th as you drive by.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and you definitely be safe out there.
Well, that wraps up part of the information that I wanted to share. What I find myself doing is I'm always looking for information because I'm just a really curious person, and so I always want to know the why behind it. And those of you who know me in person know that I'm the kind of person who reads the labels and then I'll Google it if I don't know what it is or don't understand it, or if I think it might be a little sketchy and I want to know more about it. So I'm finding that I have a lot of resources, and that part of what I'm trying to do in 2020 is to share the information that I have. And I thought one of the ways of doing this would be to do this Facebook Live. Originally this started as a Q&A, and it was a Q&A around my Shackley business. So to answer questions for people, how to use products, and some of the these lives that I've done, I have done videos showing how to use a product or what happened when I used it. And it was a lot of fun. And then we hit this strange new world that we're all in right now. And so I kind of shifted to information that I think is valuable that I wanted to know, and I had a feeling that if I wanted to know this, that there were other people who wanted to know it. So I would appreciate it if you would leave a note in the comments. Doing this live, you can leave a comment, or on the replay, please feel free to do that. I have a feeling that the sound is probably not really great on the videos, and pretty sure I had that figured out, and I will probably fix that when I get done today so that you can actually hear it and not get that echoing sensation that happens. The other thing is I'm sending out an email. It's almost like a newsletter instead of an email, and I'm also putting in all kinds of information about things that I've learned, like for example, I didn't know about processing our mail, our physical mail. Didn't even think about it until one day I walked by the dining room table and there it was, and I thought, oh, that's so wrong to bring it in the house and put it on the dining room table. It's an old behavior, trying to figure out what the new behavior is. So one of the things I put in the newsletter is Dr. Sandy Bavacqua not very good at pronouncing last names, so I'm sorry about that. She's done 2 great little videos, one on how to process your mail and one on how to process your groceries. And this is a woman who I really trust, given her background and her experience. I know she knows, so I feel really good about sharing that. If you would like to get on my email list, please put your name in the comments. I will work on getting an opt-in form happening. I don't think it is right now, but we'll work on that to make it a little bit easier. But right now, put it in the comments, and or on Facebook, feel free to PM me or to friend me. Lots of ways to find me. So thank you very much for your time. I hope this was helpful. I am looking forward to your comments. Oh, and the product that Ryan was talking about, Shaklee has a germicide product, and right now it's back ordered. I do have some of it in my home office. Go ahead and order it online. Just know that it's going to be a little while. And to order from me, I don't think I wrote this down anyplace. You can go to shopwithrobin.today, and that'll take you right to my website. That's shopwithrobin.today, and you can look and see about our green cleaners, but the germicide is pretty fabulous, and we know that it does kill a huge range of viruses, and it kills the COVID-19. So thank you again very much for your time. We hope that this was helpful, and keep smiling and take a deep breath. Thanks.